Probably by now, a lot of you guys reached the new milestone on the new battle pass, and you're gonna be able to collect the chest. If no, you will be able to collect it in a couple of days or so. And this is the third chest that we are getting from the battle passes. Some of you guys might be new players coming to Dragonheir Silent Gods, and I'm here to tell you what are the best rare champions in Dragonheir Silent Gods and what you should prioritize and what champions to pick from here based on whatever you guys have available already. So let me just quickly collect the chest. You're gonna find it right here in your inbox, guys, just in case if you're not gonna be able to know where to find it. So I still have the one from the previous battle pass, but basically we have a bunch of awesome rare champions, and you're gonna get a few of them for free when you start playing the game. And once you reach mid game, end game, I'm currently in the end game now that the other world is open, and we still have the Pillar of Trials where you need to change a lot of champions, do a lot of different teams, a lot of combination of champions to be able to defeat that. I mean, a lot. You should have, let's just say, 5-6 champions from each element, and then you combine 2 elements, so you're gonna be able to play around with them. And of course, we have different dungeons, we have different content to complete, and I'm gonna walk you through what rare champions you should pick. So the number one rare champion in the entire game is no one else but Sigrid, guys. Now, there's no secret. Most probably you've seen plenty of people using this champion, and honestly, she's just absolutely amazing. Great for pretty much almost every single dungeon in the game. Great for the domains, great for the goblin, and just all around, she brings in so much damage. Even great for arena, guys. Now, with Sigrid, you do need to have some sort of an enabler, a champion that lends debuffs AoE, because her skill, her ultimate skill, deals a lot of damage, but at the same time, this is a single target hit. Now, if you enable this skill to become AoE with a different champion, how you may notice right here, deals poison damage to an enemy and all enemies inflicted with debuffs. So if you have debuffs, this will become AoE and it will deal so much damage. And on top of it, you have healing prohibition and attack penalty. I can say without any doubt that she is probably the best healing prohibition champion in the entire game. She has it on the battle skill, she has it on the ultimate, she brings attack down as well. This makes her great for the Grave of Wrath. I was using her quite a bit in the Grave of Venom as well. I was using her in the Frost and Necrosis domain. I was using her, of course, in the Tempest domain, using her against the Green Dragon, using her against the Purple Dragon, and I was using her against the Corrupted Queen as well. So in so many areas, and she's part of my arena team, the 3v3 team and the regular arena team as well. So she brings a lot of firepower. You have Accuracy Aura, the passive. When an enemy inflicted with debuffs dies, the hero gains 25% ultimate energy. She doesn't need necessarily to get the kill, and you're getting so much ultimate energy, guys. You're constantly running that A3. She is probably the superstar of my goblin team, okay? Because she's dealing so much damage. So this is without a doubt your number one pick. If you don't have her, don't even think about any other rare champion. Just pick Sigrid, okay? Because you'll be getting insane value out of this champion. Now let's just say you have Sigrid and you're looking to get a different champion. It really depends what help you need, in what sort of content, and of course it depends what's your main team. Like, if you're still at the very beginning in the first few days, guys, you have 6 days where you can reset all your champions, okay? And it doesn't matter what team you created in the second day, because you can reset all that, and before that expires, the event, towards the end of the 6th day, you can decide, okay, I summoned some new heroes, I'm gonna go and make a fire and poison team. I'm gonna go and make a frost and necrosis team. Or maybe make a rally and a lightning team, you know? So it depends what you're planning to do in the game. You need help in this dungeon. You might need help in the vortex. You might need help somewhere else. But it's very important to keep in mind the elemental affinity. So the next champion that I'm gonna bring on the list, guys, is gonna be no one else but Eli. So this as a champion is actually very powerful. He brings quite a bit of damage. He's pretty good in the vortex. Sigrid is good in the vortex as well for the decreased attack, but her damage is not that insane there, you know. He can be used in the goblin, it can be used on some of the domains as well, because he does have an attack aura for all battles, which is very, very helpful. And he has a nice AoE skill right here that shoots 3 waves of bolts in designated direction. Now you can build this champion with enlightenment and attack and accuracy, and forget about the crit rate, which will actually help him more for the vortex because of the passive that deals derivative poison damage. Or you can build him with crit rate, attack, crit damage, and just kind of like prioritize the battle skill and the ultimate to kill waves and just kill enemies in general. So you have quite a few different options with this champion as well. It can be very useful together with Sigrid actually on the world bosses, either if you're working on new tier, either if you are working on the other world event and you have the world bosses there to deal poison damage. I'm actually going to build him today for my team and replace Vikana as a legendary champion because she's not doing enough damage compared to this rare champion. Keep that in mind. He's actually very, very nice. So I'm going to give him a go because it's more accessible to use scrolls on the rares compared to the legendaries or even epics for what it matters. And with this skill, he actually has a chance to land poisons too. So if you can get some accuracy on him as well, it would be very, very helpful. And yes, you can run him on the Grave of Venom as well as a damage dealer if you don't have better options. How I mentioned, Goblin, domains, etc. This is another poisoner. Funny enough, there are quite a few good rare poisoners actually. Much better than the other elements. So this champion right here, very useful as well. Either to deal AoE damage, either to help you in some fights against bosses. So with a passive, every third basic attack additionally deals derivative poison damage to the enemy with a chance to land a poison for 15 seconds. So this is actually very, very nice. A very solid passive. Then you have the battle skill, which is an AoE, fires an orb, deals poison damage. Then you have the ultimate skill, again AoE, and kind of like sprays a poisonous mist to the area and the enemies are getting derivative damage. Now you can build him with enlightenment as well. You do want to have some enlightenment on him mainly to deal extra damage. But at the same time, if you're getting crit rate and attack, crit damage on him is not a bad idea. But this skill definitely benefits a lot from having high enlightenment, having attack, you know, and he can actually doing some serious work even on the Goblin. Very, very good champion to use in there. But if we're gonna move over to talk about a few different champions, maybe from different elements, because hey, we need some from different elements, not just poison. We have Usha right here, or Usha. For whatever reason, I'm not clicking with her name. She's from the Frost element, and very similar with other heroes, wild heroes or rally heroes. She needs some support as well from another Frost champion to land the Frost debuff for her and to make it more consistent, so she can deal a lot of damage. So she has a Captain Aura, HP in dungeon battles. The ultimate skill slashes forcefully twice, each dealing cold damage to enemies within range, and 100% chance to inflict frost. This skill deals double damage to enemies inflicted with frost. So if you can bring in a lot of damage on her, she will actually destroy. Like, she has very, very good multipliers, and repeating this skill takes you to a multiplier of 1600 damage, guys. Pretty good base stats as well. So if you need a champion to melt single target bosses, she's actually a very viable option. Viable against the Grave of Wrath, viable against the Grave of Curse, viable in the Ancient Battlefield as well. So you have quite a few different options. You can use her in the Vortex. She's probably not necessarily the best DPS for that, but she can fill in the role if you need to. Pretty solid for the Goblin too, because of the AoE attack. She buffs with the battle skill, so she's not actually doing much with that, but it's great to have that AoE skill. And with a passive, if the enemy has frost, she deals double the damage, which is definitely very, very helpful. So frost enhances the damage on these heroes, guys. Moving over to a different one is Irena, and this champion is one of the few cleansers that we have available in the game as rares or epics. And she might not be the best cleanser, but she's going to be very helpful, for the example, in the Feymander, when you need to do the Ravatrix, Lady of Greenery is the boss that you encounter every 10 levels. Very good against the Fire domain. Decent against the Grave of Wrath. She only cleanses one debuff with the ultimate skill, but she can be pretty useful. And you're getting a bit of healing from her, so definitely not a champion to sleep on if you need her for these specific areas, you know. Maybe if you have no better options and somehow you manage to reach difficulty 4 on the Vortex where he starts landing defense down on you, you could potentially use her there if you have no better options. But I would assume if you manage to get to that step, you will have slightly better champions, you know. And the next champion that we have on the list is going to be no one else but Irena. Now, she is one of the best red champions in the game, actually. She brings a lot of utility, and the main idea with her is that for the lightning element, there are not many decrease attack champions, okay? We have Yola as an epic. I might be missing one of their epics in there, but I'm not 100% sure. And then you have Irena. Now, not only that she brings decreased attack, but she deals good damage. So she can be useful for Arena, very useful for Goblin, useful for the Pillar of Trials, useful for the domains if you need her against the Fire domain or if you need her against the Necrosis and Frost domain. And you can use her against some of the dragons as well in some of the dungeons too if you need damage. Grave of Venom, for example, if you need her in there. Even a Grave of Curse as an idea. Grave of Rot if you are using these elements, you know, Lightning, Radiance. Basically, the A2 or the battle skill, sorry, unleashes Chain Lightning, dealing damage to enemies. And the Chain Lightning can bounce between enemies. So I'm running her a lot right now in my Pillar of Trials. I'm actually at the last stage. She helped me quite a bit. I put a stun set on her and she carried me big way, guys, okay? Then you have this AoE attack, and this puts at 100% chance attack penalty and has a chance to dispel one buff from them, which is actually very nice because some of the bosses in dungeons will actually buff themselves, you know? So having this as a reliable stripper is actually very nice. And you have the passive. This is kind of like a bit of a support sort of thing here that gives you a bit of shield and stuff. But the main idea is she can deal damage, and she might confuse people if they don't know that, you know. So definitely consider to pick Irena because she's absolutely amazing. Then moving over to the other champions, guys, we do have Megan on the list, and she's from the Necrosis element, and I'm using her in the Grave of Venom because you have the boss, you have the 2 minions, and one of them puts defense down on your tank, okay? Her passive, when casting a skill on an ally, dispels 1 defense penalty from them, which is actually very helpful regardless of what tank you're running, because this will actually help you to remove that. Then, of course, you have the battle skill, heals an ally by 10% of the target's max HP, and recharges their ultimate energy by 25%. And that's actually very helpful in there because you're gonna get more ultimate energy. You're gonna be able to land that decrease attack with your tank maybe more often, or get to heal more often with your tank. So it's actually very nice. Then the ultimate skill grants defense up 1 and recovery over time to all allies within range. So she's actually a pretty solid option to get a bit of healing, get a bit of support from her, you know. So definitely don't sleep on her. Necrosis and Frost, they're gonna have a bit of a struggle with the support, and I am using her at the moment in the Pillar of Trials on the Frost Necrosis element because, my god, they definitely need some support in there, guys. 100%. It's actually a struggle to do all the work with them in there. Then, of course, we have Grover. Grover, he's a bit more niche, honestly, so I'm kind of like in a pickle to pick him or not pick him. So if you need somebody for the Ancient Battlefield, if you need somebody for the Grave of Curse, he's a pretty good option because he dispels buffs, okay? So if you need somebody that dispels buffs, he's the man. And flashes to an enemy and launches 2 attacks, each dealing damage, then stealing a random buff from them. With the battle skill, strikes an enemy 2 times with a chance of stealing 10% of the ultimate energy. So that's actually pretty nice. He enters invisibility when his HP goes low, and then this can only be triggered every 5 seconds. You have a accuracy aura in all battles. So he's a bit more niche, honestly, and I'm kind of like in between him and Fitz to put them in the top 10, but I would generally say that Fitz, as an example, is a much better champion in terms of utility and what you can actually do with him. So he is kind of like a tank from the Necrosis element as well. But he's very, very unique, guys. With the ultimate skill, basically, he transfers all the debuffs from your entire team. He covers all the map, gains a bit of HP, and puts all the debuffs on himself. Each debuff will grant him extra healing. Then with the battle skill, randomly dispels one of the debuffs and puts defense up on himself. So he can be pretty helpful, especially if you need some help on the Ravatrix, Lady of Greenery's boss, in the Flame Domain, you know, in the Grave of Wrath, where they're actually debuffing you a lot, you know. Definitely consider him as an option, of course, if you don't have much better options. And if you're missing this rare champion and you have the ones that I already mentioned, definitely consider him as an option from your chest, you know. The more debuffs, the less damage taken. So he's actually pretty interesting because of all this. And moving over to the next champion, we're gonna have another Frost in here, Rafi. She's actually pretty interesting too, and she is kind of like a support-ish damage champion, right? When the hero is dealing damage to enemies inflicted with Frozen, there's a 50% chance to reduce their ultimate energy. Now, Frozen is a crowd control debuff, unable to launch basic attacks or cast skills, but takes 30% less damage. So it's kind of like negating that part of the Frozen debuff. The battle skill deals attack penalty for 5 seconds, and this is a 100% chance and is the big version of it. The ultimate, which deals damage, AoE, and has a chance to inflict Frozen, okay? 75% chance, which is definitely pretty nice as some form of crowd control if you don't have better options. But that decreased attack is really what makes her shine, because it's on a short cooldown. You know, it's very important to have something like this in your team generally. And the next champion that we have on the list, guys, is going to be no one else but Quarian. Very good healer for the Radiance element if you don't have any other options, and is increasing the healing with a passive. The battle skill grants recovery over time, and you have the ultimate skill, heals allies within range and grants them defense up. So this is a support. You can run him pretty much in most of the content if you need that extra healing. A lot of the times, guys, a lot of these rare champions actually do a very good job at healing, okay? So keep that in mind. They're definitely not champions that suck at doing the job. And the good part is that look at the initial recharge time and the complete recharge time. 16 seconds and 9 seconds. Very good. Most of the champions have 20 seconds and 12. He has a very good time right here if you scroll him, of course. So definitely keep him in mind. And I will want to add another champion, guys, to the list, and he is a damage dealer. Lorari is a pretty good one as well for the poisoners, if you need more poisons. But it's going to be Welby. So Welby is pretty damn interesting, actually, because he deals rally damage. With a passive, when gaining rally, grants 15% attack up to the hero and one ally. The battle skill deals damage to an enemy with a chance of granting rally on a random ally for 10 seconds. And the ultimate has a very good AoE, 700% attack to enemies within range. If the hero has rally, is going to consume that and gain 50% ultimate energy, allowing you to rotate this skill very fast. But these are the rare champions that I would pick from the chest if I need help in content. This is a good damage dealer that can be used in many different locations as well, guys. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below what's your favorite rare champion so far, and what's your main team for this season at the moment. I'm very curious to know that, because I didn't have a chance to check it with you guys. Are you running Fire and Poison, Radiance and Lightning, or Necrosis and Frost? Very curious to hear what's your main team. Appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.